Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have you here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do paycheck to paycheck videos, weekly check-ins, budget check-ins, mostly budgeting content, some plan with me's with a 5 rings agenda and the hourly Erin Condren life planners, as well as a little bit about my faith. So I'm excited to kind of dive into this and share with you closing out Paycheck 2, setting up Paycheck 3, and continuing till the end of the month. There are 3 times during the month, most months, that my husband gets paid, and I will be going over all of that. He has been deployed as a civilian contractor with the Navy, and he just came back on Valentine's Day. Yay, he is home, and that means spending is going to change. It is going to go up, and we are definitely bracing for that impact. And he's not bad. It's just as a family, we want to do more activities when it's getting warmer, kind of. It's still February, so it's still cold, but there are things we want to do together as a family. When my husband's gone, we just kind of sit and hunker down and wait for him to get home. But when he's home, he likes to go out and do things and go places, and so that is why our spending goes up and then down. And also, while he's gone, he gets overtime money, and you will be seeing that this will be the last full paycheck of overtime for the full paycheck period he was gone. You will see a little bit of increase in pay, because my husband did get a raise while he was gone for Paycheck 1 in March. And then you'll see a little bit of overtime where it carried over a few days. Anything after the 11th of February went into March's paycheck pay. I think the 4th of March is the pay period. So it just depends on how the paydays line up along with when that time period is covered. And so you will see that in the future as well. So I have finished my weekly check-in. That was yesterday's video. Now today I am doing the Paycheck 3 setup, but I have to close out Paycheck 2 to know how much to balance forward that it was still in the checking account before the new paycheck hit. Now I do know the actual paycheck number, so I don't have to really budget here other than, budgeting the expenses, because I know the actuals. I know what's going to balance forward, and I actually know what is the amount for my husband's paycheck, because I see the pending deposits, or deposit, just one deposit. So that's going to be there. Even though I have it under budget and actuals, it's going to be the same number. But I will show you the difference on what we normally get and what we normally get paid without overtime, and what overtime also looks like. So I'm going to pop these pages out. We're going to zoom in and go ahead and get started. We're going to use our weekly check-in from yesterday to find our numbers for Paycheck 2 on the total spending. I'm going to actually use my laptop, because my weekly check-in, I don't want to have to go through all that math, but I'll show you where it is on the weekly check-in. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I am back. So Paycheck 2, the only difference from when I budgeted to today is that I transferred $500 from our savings account into our checking account, and that was our travel expense savings. So that is going to increase this amount, and we're going to go ahead and make that total. So $896.64 plus the $5,502.88. Now that was overtime included, salary, and I think some travel money too, so I'm not quite sure. And then plus $500. Here we go. So the reason I transferred the $500 into our checking from savings, even though I probably have plenty of money for it, is I didn't want to affect the spending categories we had. So that just is, that way my budget isn't impacted. That is what is important to me. So $6,899.52 was the amount. We were over, we got more money, so it was over by $500 just because I transferred from savings. This had nothing to do with the fact that we earned any new money. This was money we had already put into savings. And this is money that kind of my husband spends for his travel and then gets reimbursed and spends. So it's the same $500 that keeps coming in and out, but it's just, we just keep recycling it until he doesn't have to have travel expense anymore. Roth IRA came out. All the bills were the same. I guessed on how much we would tithe for overtime. When my husband gets paid, and the agreement that we have prayed and talked about as far as finances and stuff like that, and this is very important to us, we tithe. So there's a certain amount we tithe that's based on my husband's salary check. Okay, and that never changes. That stays the same. It goes to the general fund at our church. I absolutely love it. It's an amazing church. It's like God has blessed us so much with that, and it's just amazing. But when he gets overtime money, it's one of those things where we get to decide, do we want it to go to the general fund of the church? Do we want to give to an outside organization? Do we want to give to somebody within our church, or some kind of program within our church? What is it that God wants us to do? And this time around, the overtime tithe went to Greater Europe Missions, to a couple who is growing their family. They have a 1.5, 2. I can't remember how old he is. Oh my goodness. Anyways, they have a son, little boy, and then they're going to have another baby here in June or July. And they're missionaries. They're part of our church, and we absolutely adore them. And so we tithe to them regularly at the first of every month. But my husband's like, I feel like we should tithe more with the overtime money. I said, okay. So he tells me who, and I get to tithe how we God has led us to tithe. And so I guessed $270, and then this was the adjustment for that. And then I had a counseling session, and that was pretty amazing session. Now that I think about it, I'm remembering back, I'm like, wow, that was pretty amazing. So anyways, I won't get into that. Geico, and this is a Christian counseling, so it's faith-based, and just God was so good there. So Geico is our car insurance. That came out. Electric was very low this month. I do know my Virginia natural gas for the house for the month of March to cover February, for what I used in February, is $100 more than this past month. So yeah, that's going to be a big jump. So here's my spending categories. Here's what I planned for Paycheck 2, which is in my weekly check-in, week 2 and week 3 of my weekly check-in. So you would have to, these spending amounts would be totaled together for the spending. I think. Yeah, but they're in, this number plus this number gives you all 4 categories totaled together for what I spent during the paycheck period of 2. So I have a spreadsheet here that does it by category, and I'm just going to put that number here and not go through a lot of paperwork for that. But you'll notice if you saw my weekly check-in, these numbers are going to match the over-unders that I had in my weekly check-in, which is kind of cool. But this is where I'm getting my numbers from, is these numbers over here from my weekly check-in. So the results should look like this. And then I will add new money going into Paycheck 3 and keep that within budget there. Let's see. Grocery household. What did we spend in total? It was $561.57. The restaurants, very low spending in restaurants, $91.21. Keep in mind, my husband was not home. He hasn't been home since December 4th. So we're just here, and my husband's not here, so we don't spend as much when he's not home. So we didn't go out to eat, and I've been trying not to eat out as much. So I think we did really good for 2 weeks. $100, barely $50 a week. That's pretty awesome. I'm proud of us on that one. Let's see how it works now that my husband's back. And this will probably double for sure. I know we're going to do a fancy dinner and spend $100 one night just going out. And so that's definitely going to go up the last paycheck of the month. So you'll see that coming up. Miscellaneous, I spent $375.89. I went over just a little bit there, but because I was way under in these categories, it definitely could absorb that negative number. It's not a problem. And then gasoline, $134.23. Paycheck 3, what's left over in gas? My husband might have to get gas, but I won't until, well, I might one more time right before the beginning of the next month. So let's go ahead and make sure these numbers line up with what my balances are in my spreadsheet and my weekly check-in. I'm trying to get everything on here, and we'll do our over-unders. 667.09 plus the 561.57. Oh, I didn't mean to add that together. What am I doing? Y'all need to tell me these things. Okay, 667.09 minus 561.57. And that, yep, that's right in line with what I already knew. 105.52. This gets balanced forward to paycheck 3 in the spending categories, which is awesome. We have plenty of money now that my husband's back. 337.50 minus 91.21. $246.29. That matches my spreadsheet and my weekly check-in. Then here is where it's going to be negative $358.23 minus the $375.89, and that gives us negative $17.66, which is fine. Obviously, I have plenty of money in the account to, oops, I usually put that on the outside, to cover it, and it will be fine. I am not worried about that at all. And it was not frivolous spending. I had to buy a car battery because I did not, start my husband's car up often enough to keep the battery charged. And out of 25 years of him deploying a Navy service, guess what? That's the first time that's ever happened. I've always been able to keep his car going, and this time around I didn't. So I think I did pretty good. All right, $90 here and 77 cents. So that matches my weekly check-ins. I'll just show you real quick. These numbers match across the board, and we are looking good. So now all I really have to do on here is take and total up all my expenses. After that, I did transfer the extra overtime money to the Roth IRA and fully fund my 2022 Roth IRA. So I'm doing 2 Roth IRAs. I'm doing my savings for next year at the beginning of the year. Roth IRAs, you can only put in $6,000 under a certain threshold. And so I'm saving up to $6,000 by the end of this year with the paycheck to pay. Every paycheck I pull $158 out, except for the last one, and I have a tracker for that. I sell in my Etsy store along with these budget sheets. And here's my tracker. The one in my store is a little different font and doesn't look exactly like this, but it has these eggs, nest eggs and everything, and it looks really cool, and I love it. And so we're going to be coloring in this one here for February 18th, and that money's going to go into savings. But this Roth IRA here for 2022 is because we have an appointment and we're setting up my Roth IRA for this year. Now that my husband's back and we're getting all our investments together in one location, that is what we're doing here. And the Roth IRA here, what was I saying? Oh, this amount was I saved basically all my husband's overtime and then some, and this brought me to the $6,000. And then we have other savings. Now, the leftover overtime money that's coming on the 18th in Paycheck 3 does not have to go anywhere. We don't know what we're doing with it yet. We haven't decided on it. So keep up with the paycheck to paycheck and you'll see what we decide to do with the extra money, but we don't know. As of today, I have no idea what we're doing with the overtime money. All I know is I need to know how much it is, and my husband and I will just talk it out and figure out what we want to do. So here we go. And then because of my husband, overtime and all that stuff, he needs to enjoy some of that. You know what I'm saying? He worked really hard and he was overseas. He had a few days in a foreign port that he had been in before that he really enjoyed. And I was like, okay, transfer $500. He felt that was a good number. He didn't want to have too much money. He wanted to keep most of the money over here. But, and he could use that, for some like touristy stuff, and he went to a pub and kind of hung out with some old retirees that opened up an Irish pub overseas, and it was really cool. Let's see. So, but he made it home, and then I had a P.O. box. I went ahead and paid for that, $116 for 6 months, and then I pulled out money for haircuts for this weekend to pay in cash, and that is everything that we spent. So this money I will get back, the $116 in Paycheck 3, because I reduced how much I am putting into my sinking funds to compensate for this. So anytime I use my sinking funds, I just reduce how much I actually put in there, and then I show you as I take it out, it reallocates to the other sinking funds and within that same savings account. So that's really, really cool. So let's total this up. I'm going to fast forward to this part and I'll be right back. See, as soon as I figure out how I want to set this up. Well, I'm going to leave it as is and figure out that penny later. That'll be fine. So the total for expenses is $6,364.91 or 90 cents. I'm going to put 90 cents because that's what my laptop says, and it does math better than I do, so I may have just added a number. And then I'm going to take this 90 cents, $6,364.90, and oops, I did it backwards. Do this, $6,899.52 minus the $6,364.90. And we are going to get $534.62. And this is exactly to the penny in my bank account. And that's what you want to get as much as possible, as close as possible. That way, you know how much, you're on the right track and how much money you have available for spending going forward in the next paycheck period. So now that I know Paycheck 2, I'm just going to kind of close these out because I really don't total those. Now that I know what the actual is for how much money is left over, and as you can see, I was pretty close on the numbers and they fluctuated up and down a little bit. But I think I did pretty good, and having that $500 buffer there, I'm very comfortable leaving about $500 in the account. That really helps me stay comfortable as we have money and spending. And even though I have an emergency fund, something like this in case I forget something just really helps. So Paycheck 3, we're going to move this in here. And I'm going to take that number. See if I can get it all in here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and write that right here. This is the balance forward, $534.62. It is exactly to the penny in the checking account, so I know this number is correct. And the only thing that hasn't hit the checking account is the deposit for this. But I see the pending deposit, and that's how I'm able to do my paycheck to paycheck without actually having the money there. I know exactly how much it is. And so since I have all the actuals, I'm going to use the actuals as if it's in the bank account. So here we go. Balance forward, and then salary overtime. All right, here we go. So salary overtime. Now I gotta find my notes. Here we go. So I have my cheat sheet over here, and the salary overtime is $4,785.44. Now with my husband's overtime, one big reason I don't calculate it is because I never know how they calculate it, what is considered a holiday, what isn't, and how that pay works with that. So I just base everything. Normally I would put his basic salary, which is $2,313.28. That is what he gets without overtime after taxes are taken out. That's after Roth is taken out, and any extras that we have taken out of the paycheck, this is what's left over. Now, and I made this negative so I can add this deposit, $4,785.44. So this is how much overtime and a pay increase that he got, a raise. Every year in January, the company does a small raise in increments, and that raise is it's to compensate like a bonus, but instead they just give you a raise. And so it happens every year. And it's really nice, and yeah, he makes pretty decent money doing that. So he actually made over $100 more than what he normally did in a regular check. So his paycheck doubled plus $150 or so. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's a hard work though. It's definitely difficult and time consuming, which is why we're considering a different job, and he has a different field that he wants to be working in his dream job. In fish and wildlife. So we are basically using this job to squirrel away as much as possible in order to go ahead and prepare to be in a lower income bracket, and but he'll still get his retirement check and disability and things like that. So we'll be impacted, but we'll still be really good. Total between what's already in the bank account, balance forward, and the salary and overtime is going to be 62, 4,785.44, $5,320.06. So and that, oops. Now here I don't actually put the actual, I just about did, but I have to wait until the end of the month. Just in case I transfer any funds from our savings into checking for, emergencies or something that comes up that I wasn't expecting, I need to be able to have room to do that and go ahead and make those changes. That's going to be the same. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill out all these different things right here, and I'm going to fast forward through this part and we'll put the totals together. So I'll be right back. Okay, there we are. So those are the listings of everything that we are putting money and compartmentalizing this total amount here so that we assign every one of these dollars, and all the way to the penny gets assigned a job, and something that it has purpose and meaning for. And when your money knows where to go, then you never ask, where did my money go? Because you already know. You've already given it its assignment, and you are able to tell it to where to go instead of it telling you where it needs to go. So the first thing I want to do is, what I have done is taken this amount right here, and we typically do 10%, which is very common in the Christian community for tithing. So I am going to do that number. So the $4,785.44. So to make it easy on myself, unless God's leading me a different direction, I just take 10% of what came in. Now, some people do gross, some people do net. And I'm just kind of showing you where the number came from. All right, so that's $478.54 roundabout. Now, we already do a tithe that is set for the salary part, not the overtime. So the salary part is $310 is what we give. And that's an odd number, and it has nothing to do with percentage. It's just what God laid on our hearts. So there's that. And then, so I will subtract $310 from this number because this is already being budgeted to tithe. And then this is the leftover number. So we know we want to tithe overtime to Greater Europe Missions, where our favorite missionaries are. And we want to do that. Now there's a 3% processing fee. So what I tend to do is round up and then subtract the 3%. So let's see, that was 170 is what I rounded up to, times the 3% processing fee, which is $5. So about $5. And so when I did 170 minus the $5, I'm thinking 165 or so. So that's kind of where I'm at on these numbers, but I'm not sure what the exact number is going to be. So just to play it safe, I'm going to put 170, and then I will find out what it is with the processing fee, because I usually take the processing fee out of that as well. But I won't know that number until I actually do the process. Roth IRA, this is for my, for next year. And this is what we're, oops, I don't even have it on screen. Sorry, guys. This nest egg right here, and we're going to go ahead and color that a little bit. I've already got one full row colored. That is pretty cool. I cannot wait to see how this grows. So excited, so excited. I can't believe how much we were able to save for me and my husband, and get this started, get these money goals started instead of going, well, we can't afford it, maybe next year. No, don't wait till next year. Make a plan and let it happen, and let God bless you in that. Oh my goodness. That's what we're doing. There we go. All right, so that, even though I'm going to transfer it in the morning, I want to go ahead and color it with you guys. A full week. It's in the books. It's on the plan. It's going to get done. So that's $158. And that's going to go to the savings for that. Sinking funds, this is where I lowered the amount. Normally it would be $400 and something, $422, and this time it's only going to be $310. Is that right? No, that's not it. $302. That's the tithing. So there were two things that came out of sinking funds, the $116 for the P.O. box, and then one other item, the $98 and some change for Orkin, because they came and sprayed and took care of the house. So this is all I need to transfer over. That means I get to keep those two items that I already paid for out of my husband's paychecks back into our budget, which is pretty good. So $87.56, that's life insurance for me and my boys and my husband. Vivint is, we did the tithe, that's for the salary, that's for the overtime part. And then Vivint is $56.46. I am so thankful for this. So I had the fireplace on for a long time. It was really cold one night, and I had it up pretty high. I probably shouldn't have done that. And it's a gas log fireplace, or gas fireplace. And the carbon monoxide detectors went off. And when I punched in the key on the keypad, immediately somebody came on and said, "Are you okay? This is Vivint. Do you need EMS and emergency services?" I said, "No, I've had the fireplace on for a long time." And they were like, "Well, go ahead and open your windows and doors and air out your house." And that's what I did, and we were fine and we were safe. But what I discovered, the parts per million or billion or whatever it is that they actually measure carbon, was still in a very safe range, based on what OSHA said. So basically they just noticed that it was climbing above normal levels, but it was still within the normal range. We weren't in any danger, but it could have got dangerous because you can't smell it and you don't realize what's happening and you're comfortable and cozy and warm. And yeah, I was so thankful that they called and checked in on us immediately. Like as soon as I finished hitting that last number, they were on the panel talking to me on the wall. I was like, wow. And it has cellular service as well as Wi-Fi and things like that. So that it was just really, really cool. So I am thankful for our security system as well as our smoke detectors and our carbon monoxide detectors. And this is just a service for the emergency service. We already paid for the equipment when we first bought it, so we don't have to pay that. iTunes is $2.99. It's just storage for my videos and my phone. And T-Mobile is our cell phones. It's dropped down. I realized last month there was a roaming charge for my husband being international when he was doing something, and it was only $4, so that wasn't too bad. Visa, I'm still putting at $225. We have not been spending anything on it, just letting the bills that we know we charge on there happen, and then we'll pay that at the end of the month. And it's about that amount. We might put some charges on there. I don't know if we're going to need to, but there's always the potential, so I'm never going to say never. Verizon, I have, let's see, $82.71. That's our internet. We only have internet. We stream everything. City utilities is $100. So on months I do not have a bill, I pay them $100. I just pay it in advance. And then the months that we do have a bill come in, they just take that credit and then calculate what's left that I owe, or we owe as a family. It's our water sewer. So everything's covered in that. And we average about $200 depending. It's been lower lately, but like I said, one person has not been here, and now that he's back, we'll be using more water and more showers and things like that. So Hopewell is $113. That is our out-of-pocket for counseling service. They do not take insurance because they're Christian counselors, so they're not restricted by insurance things. So, and we love them. It's great. It's been the best thing we've ever done. Travel expense savings. So what this is as you saw last month, I said $500 was spent out of that, and I transferred $500 so it wouldn't impact our budget. And now that we have extra money here in the overtime, even though my husband has not got his travel reimbursements back yet, he's actually filling out the paperwork right now, I'm going to go ahead and replenish that $500 and put it back into savings. So it's already ready to go the next time he has to travel, if there is a next time he has to travel. So we don't even know what that is. And then when he gets the travel reimbursement money back in his next paycheck, that extra money would just be in our paycheck, and we'll just allocate from the budget there. But it won't have to go to savings. We can do whatever we want with it, which is kind of cool. All right, GalaxyCon cash. So I don't do cash envelopes too often. Let's see, but I do have one, and I call it GalaxyCon 2022. And I printed these February cash envelopes that I have in my Etsy store, that they're printables. You can cut them and create your own. And I have cash in here already, $80. And I think I took a 20 out. I'm going to replace it because my son needed a haircut. So I'll do that later. But it's supposed to have $80 in it. And what I wanted to do was $80 a paycheck. Well, I haven't pulled the $80 out for the 3 pay periods in February. This was January's. I pulled it out on the 1st of February, but that was supposed to be for January, the last paycheck in January. So I counted out 20 paychecks between now and GalaxyCon. If you don't know what GalaxyCon is a place where old celebrities usually, like we're going to have William Shatner and some of the Star Trek people there, and my son goes to see all the wrestlers, Who is it he's seen? He's seen Dave Bautista, he's seen Ric Flair, he's seen AJ Styles, he's seen Charlotte Flair, all these different wrestlers. So that he loves to go see them. I go see some of the 80s and 90s actors that are there. And I have a good time with that. Anyway, so GalaxyCon, we go get autographs and we have a lot of fun and buy merchandise and stuff. So I'm going to put $80 a week because we take cash when we go. And instead of trying to collect it all at the last minute like we normally do after 5 years of doing this, I'm going to add to this account or to this cash envelope for GalaxyCon, and I'll take that with me. How much did I say it was going to add? $240. That's $80 for all 3 paychecks in February. So $240. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that on 2/18/22. I'm going to replace that $20 I took out of here too. And that's $240. So clear. Oops, that's not on. So let's make sure I got this right. 240 divided by 3 is $80. Okay, times 4, and that gives us 320 total. So I should have 320 when I go to put all the money in tomorrow and my husband gets paid. So that's where that's going to go. Yeah, when you're doing autographs at these places, it's easier to have cash than running a debit or credit card because there are fees with some of the people who you're getting the autographs from. So there's that. And I'm so excited. This year we got VIP passes and all the things, and it's going to be fun. We've never done the VIP thing. And so I'm going to enjoy all those little perks. Let's see, I'm going to add, now the hard part, add up what our amounts are for grocery household. And actually, I don't have to add it up. I'm going to take it off of the weekly check-in here. So this was the weekly check-in that I just finished last time. And then these are the amounts. So I'm going to put these amounts here. Don't think I can get them all on the screen, so I'm just going to have it off to the side and write that down. So balancing forward what was left over in each category plus what I planned for the paycheck 3 period, $355.52. This is for the last 11 days of February. Restaurants, $358.79. Now that my husband's back, we are going to spend in restaurants a little bit more. Just because we haven't had our Valentine dinner yet, and there's a restaurant we like to go to, and we spend quite a bit of money there, and it's really amazing food. And so we want to do that. $119.84 is miscellaneous. We did have to spend quite a bit today because his car battery died while he was gone, and we had to replace that in his Jeep. $165.77 is gasoline. That'll be enough for both of us, especially when he goes back to work next week, and if he needs to go into the office or to the base, that is what he has available. And I just filled up, so I may not need to fill up until the end of the month or the 1st of March. So I should be good to go there. But yeah, those are my grocery category, or my spending categories right there. So now that I have a plan for every dollar, I know where they're going, and I'm telling my money where it's going, what it needs to do. It has its marching orders. Now I need to discover what is left over. What is the buffer of the checking account? What are we going to do with that money? I have no idea. You don't have to wait till the end of the month to find out. But I need to know how much it is before I can even make a decision on what we could be doing with it. So let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and put all this in here. I'm going to total this up. We're going to come up with a number, and I will be right back. Okay, I had to stop filming and recheck some numbers here. So hopefully I got this right. I have $3,564.55 And yes, I have it right. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot to add something to my spreadsheet that I included here. I think it was a GalaxyCon thing, and it threw my numbers off, and I got really flustered and confused when I couldn't get it right a minute ago. So I am editing that out, and now I'm back. Hopefully we can finish up this video. So here we go. Let's write this number down. $3,564.55. And then I'm going to take this amount that I know is going to be the balance forward plus what I know is going to be deposited, which is $5,320.06. And then I'm going to subtract this amount, and that's going to give me what's basically the buffer in my checking account. Will I leave all of that in there? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with this money. So $3,564.55. Here we go. And that's quite a bit for a buffer, $1,755.51. And that's a sizable buffer. Now, we could just leave it sitting there. We can plan to deposit somewhere for a future vacation. I do know in April, spring break is coming up. It's the last spring break my son will have. I know my husband's putting in time to take off from work, so maybe we'll put it towards that or another vacation over the summer. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, put my notebook back together, and we will close out this video. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Paycheck 2 is closed. Paycheck 3 is set up. I know what's in the account. I know what's going to happen for the most part. And if anything changes, we'll take it as it happens. But yeah, that is where we're at right now. We have a pretty sizable buffer, which is the overtime money that's left over after we transferred everything and put into our savings and put into where we're tithing and where we're doing all these different things. Yeah, this is the plan for the month. I don't have a lot of unbudgeted room here. I only have 3 lines, so hopefully I don't really have to make a lot of transactions here. I've got my plan for the Roth IRA ready to go, and I've already filled in my nest egg. I'll be transferring the funds as soon as this hits the bank and first thing. And yeah, I'm excited for Paycheck 3 and going into March and figuring out what we're going to do. And I'll let you know at the end of the month what decisions we'd made as far as this leftover money. We might just wait a few days and kind of let it sit there for a little bit and then make a decision once we get closer to the end of the month. Make sure nothing else comes up that we need to be concerned with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.